last video, we did a deep dive into pure hobby trauma. We defined the top 25 most rage-inducing Warhammer miniatures to paint together as a community project. From the soul-crushing trim of the Helldrake, or basically any Chaos Mini, to the nightmare that is assembling and painting Belisarius Call. Ugh. And after reading through hundreds of your comments, you made one thing crystal clear. It is also important to focus, on the positives rather than the negatives. You wanted to know which models actually heal your soul and remind us why we fell in love with this hobby in the first place. So I polled the community again to create the ultimate list. Welcome back to my channel, my name is Kiddo, and these are the top 25 most fun Warhammer miniatures to paint. But before we jump into number 25, we have to get something straight. What actually makes a miniature fun to paint? Why do some minis get so much on our nerves and some are just easygoing and super exhilarating to paint? And like a wise sponge once asked,
what is fun? Let me spell it for you.
This is to what I broke it down to. F stands for forgiving textures. Annoying minis demand rigid perfection. One slip of black paint on a yellow armor means an extra hour of cleanup. Fun minis, on the other hand, feature textures like orc muscle or nurgle rod, stone, fur, or scales, where mistakes don't make that much of an impact. They just become, battle damage or organic variations. They let you experiment without fear. And everyone who has ever painted a Seraphon knows what I'm talking about. Love painting scales. U stands for unrestricted access. An annoying mini forces your brush into impossible mini gaps between a chest plate or a gun. A fun mini is designed with painting in mind. Broad open panels that let your brush move smoothly. Like, why do we need to glue two separate fingers to half a hand? Like to save plastic sprue? Come on, GW, we can do better than this. N stands for natural flow. Fun models give you fast visual wins. Whether it's adding neon paint on a gloomspite mushroom, or dry brushing a tree lot in 20 minutes, or lighting up warp stone fire, these sculpts trigger high dopamine returns for very little tedious effort. And some minis just do it. For me, at least. Do you know this feeling when a miniature comes together without that much of a fuss? It just feels like a natural flow. I experienced this when I painted the Great Unclean One, and even though he's a disgusting little fella, the painting process itself was so pleasing and forgiving as well because of all the texture. And then I turned him into Jabba the Hutt, but that's a different story. So now we have determined the fun baseline, the 3 pillars of a pleasant Warhammer paint job. Maybe now you realize why that half-painted project sitting on your desk has been staring at you for the past 6 months. It failed the fun system, duh. But today it is not about the unfinished paint jobs or pain in the ass minis, but all about the minis that actually get finished. Let's kick off the countdown with a model that redefines what it means to return to your Zen era. Oh, and to keep things completely fair, 0 models from a previous Rage list are allowed on this list today. Kicking off our list at number 25 is the Orc Mega Boss, and he is the absolute gold standard for forgiving textures. If you're coming off a project that required razor-sharp edge highlights and absolute perfection, this guy is your ultimate palette cleanser. Those massive iron armor plates give you room to test out heavy weathering and rust washes and chipped animal techniques without ever stressing about precise lines, Mistakes don't exist on orcs. They are perfectly imperfect, which makes this whole endeavor of painting the Orc Megaboss extremely fun and satisfying. At number 24, we have the Redemptor Dreadnought, which is a classic example for unrestricted access. If you want flat, clean armor panels without the nightmare of complex geometry or weapons blocking, the torso armor, the Redemptor Dreadnought is the mini to go. Large, wide open flat surfaces mean, edge highlighting and decal transfers, and they feel super smooth and also easy to reach. It's the ultimate weekend project, if you ask me, when you need a break from a very demanding project. Remember, this list is about fun miniatures, not easy to paint miniatures. Big difference. Number 23, Rockgut Troggoths. This is very hard to pronounce for me. These guys are such fun sculpts. I personally love them so much. The stone-like backs allow you to mess around with heavy dry brushing and, crackle paints maybe, almost the same effect that scales have, in my opinion. Their smooth skin gives you the perfect canvas for practicing soft color blending with total natural flow. Nothing more satisfying than edge highlighting crystals, so definitely deserved to be on this list. Number 22, the Leviathan Tyranid Psychophage, one of my absolute favorite models ever. While even the thought of painting 50 standard termagants triggers something bad in me, the Psychophage is a big monster model that is so much fun to paint. I've always loved Tyranid textures, the carapace, but also the Tyranid flesh beneath, which is the reason they were my first whole completed army, and the whole process is just, in my opinion, very forgiving and fun. You can work with a lot of washes on the flesh, for example, Caraba Crimson, it's one of my favorite washes, and the different textures, the weight and the structure and the size of the model just fit perfectly into our fun framework. Next, number 21, Space Marine Vanguard Detachment or Intercessors. Sometimes you just want to turn your brain off. Standard Primaris Marines are the comfort food of Warhammer painting. So they would be like the mac and cheese of Warhammer 40k, or potato mash and gravy, or maybe a nice beef stew. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Sharp lines, recognizable shapes, and a zero bullshit, baby. It means instant gratification and a smooth painting flow in every session. The ideal palette cleanser. Number 20, Lord Croak. Kind of a bold choice, but not only me, also the community thought that Lord Croak deserves place number 20 in our fun ranking. I mean, look at him. He's a floating skeleton mummy frog sitting on an ancient golden floating throne. Do I need to say more? I think he is so cool, goddamn. So talking about forgiving textures, you get all these super cool golden ancient seraphon details and plants and stone and metallic gold. It's a display piece that makes you look like a pro painter without needing to be one. That's my kind of jam. In my opinion, you can pull off a paint job with only using speed paints and it would look absolutely fantastic on the battlefield.
This is too perfect.
Number 19, Noise Marines. And this is a mini to my taste because it is weird, it is wild, it is colorful, it is metal, and I dearly love it. This simple miniature completely breaks all the rules of color theory in the best way possible. Painting bright pinks and neon blues and leopard prints on an 80s inspired rock star marine gives you space to let out all your creative energy without any pressure. And I think it's a fantastic model that fulfills every requirement of the fun base work. Next, number 18, and why is GW torturing me so much? Gaskull Thraka. I think. I gotta be honest, he looks a bit intimidating, but again, we're talking orcs here, and you guys mentioned him many times in this ranking. He's huge and a bad boy and full of character, and he balances, I'm trying to not say the name again, he balances the heavy measurements of a dreadnought with the chaotic fun of orc scrap metal. Every tube and bolt and weapon and barrel feels rewarding to paint, without any of the tiny sprue annoyances, and a little bit of imperfection makes every orc model even more perfect. Number 17, Skaven, Thanquol, and Bone Ripper. Yes, it's a complex miniature, I know, but I remember when I got my Skaventide box and I was getting obsessed with lighting up those warpstone flames with fluorescent green and, like the red ogres or the gray seal, for example. Oh, it was so much fun. And I think Skaven in general really deserve to be on this list because we love our little red boys, right? And with this mini, you also get a lot of contrast between the Bone Ripper and the tiny, super expressive Thanquol. Really fun. Next, number 16, Abaddon the Despoiler. Okay, hold on. Hear me out. I know Chaos Space Marines were featured heavily on our rage list due to endless, extremely annoying trim, but Abaddon is the exception because he's a huge centerpiece character. Every single section has so many cool details, and I mean, look at those skulls and the helmet on his kebab stick. What is even that? What is this called? I mean, come on, look at him. He looks so freaking cool. His cloak, wow, and the lore, the fight between him and Saint Celestine. I don't care. Give me that stupid brush. I'ma paint all that trim. If it means I can add this mini to my display, hell the fuck yeah. Fun approved. Number 15, Mortarion, the demon Primarch of Nurgle. And you might be surprised to see a Primarch here after Fulgrim made our top 3 rage lists. But unlike Fulgrim's demand for smooth perfection, Mortarion rewards, imperfection. Weathering and rust and washes and textured moth wings and grime, make Mortarion an absolute dream for grimdark painters. I think he's really fun to paint, and you can make a lot of progress in just one sitting due to washes and dry brushing, that it serves the natural flow of painting, and this means instant dopamine. Yep, definitely fun. A demanding mini to paint anyway, but still super fun. Do you guys agree with this list so far? Which mini would you switch for which? Let me know in the comments, and when you're in the process of moving your mouse, maybe subscribe to my channel if you want, so we can make more cool community lists and painting challenges together in the future. Arriving at number 14, Squighawk Boys. I'm not surprised to see more orc models on this list, and these ones are riding on super cool angry red squigs. I mean, who doesn't love squigs? Painting vibrant saturated skin on round organic shapes is fast, forgiving, and these minis are super fun to look at. And they look a little bit goofy too, which I love, so watching these monsters come to life on your desk is impossible to do without a smile. Definitely fun list approved. Next, number 13, Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels. Sanguini, Linguini. Even though we were raging about everything feathers in my last video, Sanguinius seems to be a common exception among you guys. His sculpt is absolutely magnificent, the parts are easy to reach with the brush, and as y'all said, it feels like you are working on a Renaissance painting. And I totally see it. In my opinion, a painting of Sanguinius would fit into the Sixtine Chapel. Wonderful miniature, and sure, absolutely fun and rewarding to paint. Number 12, Crude Carnivores. Games Workshop knocked the modern croup sculpts out of the park. They combine natural earthy tones with a quick, satisfying detail work like leather pouches and bone trophies and quills, and they are fast, rewarding, and deeply satisfying to paint, even in batch. I mean, some of us also want to play, right? And we gotta do what we gotta do. Good to know that there are also some models out there that are fun to paint, even in bigger numbers. Next, number 11, the Great Unclean One. Coming in at number 11 is the big boy himself, the king of forgiving textures. Like I said in the intro, he's super disgusting with all his pox and things and weird leaking intestines. Blah. But he is so fun to paint, and it feels so effortless to wet blend all those greenish beige or whatever the fuck tones and splashing technical paints into open sores and creating this oxide effect on the belts or the sword, but depending on the weapon you chose. You can always switch to the little nurgles that are supposed to be sitting on his body when you're getting tired of the main paint job. Such a wonderful and fun, flowy model to paint, and a very well-deserving number 11.
I've reached the top!
We are entering the top 10 with the Black Templars Bayard's Revenge. If you watched my miniature painting journey for a little bit, you know that I love dioramas. It's always been my favorite Golden Demon category, and I just love when a model tells a story, when there is more to explore and analyze than possible within a single glance. This model tells an entire story in a single scene. It shows a Primaris Emperor's champion bury his black sword into the chest of an orc knob, directly referencing the tragic last stand of the Black Templars at the Temple of the Emperor Ascendant during the Hell's Reach Crusade. Super cool in my opinion, and it allows you to paint fresh black armor, vibrant orc skin, and blood effects all in one contained. A masterpiece, and above all, super fun kit. Number 9, Sylvaneth Dryads or Tree Lord. What a dry brush heaven. You can base coat a Tree Lord in dark brown and hit it with 3 successive layers of dry brushing, add some, static grass or tufts and moss, and boom, it looks professional in under 2 hours. If this is not peak natural flow, then I don't know what is. Fun. Next, number 8 is the modern Commander Farsight sculpt, and he's proof how far GW's engineering has come regarding unrestricted access. The old Tau battle suits had kind of like an awkward thing to it that blocked your brush from reaching some details, and the new Farsight sculpt fixed that problem, and his dynamic pose opens up the entire miniature, giving your brush broad, smooth movement across every panel. It's also a lot bigger in size than the old model, and in general, it just looks more epic. I also think he comes very neatly together by priming him in red and working your way up with highlights edge by edge, and I love highlighting, so fun. Number 7, Catan Shard of the Void Dragon. Yes, I know, it looks kinda intimidating, but I gotta be honest, the placement of the details look so cool, and imagine painting the silver and then adding all those vibrant green tones. I think this model is absolutely fun to paint and especially to look at after a job well done. This 33-piece kit is described by GW itself as a painting challenge on their official page, but even though described as such, it still fits perfectly into our fun baseline, and I don't make the rules here, okay? Well, I do, but anyway. Next, number 6, Skaven-Tide Clan Rats. We've talked about Skaven boys before, and these little rats feel like they have been made for speed paints or contrast paints. Even in bulk, they are so much fun to paint, working through the fur base coat over to rust and the pink tails and the shield. You can basically finish 20 amazing looking rats in an afternoon without fussing over, you know, fiddly assemblies. Sounds pretty fun to me. Next, number 5, the Glotkin. The Glotkin combines 3 distinct painting styles in one box: a monster, a sorcerer, and a warlord. The scale is massive. I mean, he is huge, but the detail on this mini, oh my god. It is a lot to conquer, but fortunately, I am not the only one who likes to paint pox and weird gross intestines. If you bring the needed patience, you'll be having a great time. Fun. And next, number 4, Angron, Demon Primarch of Khorne. Angron is a huge and maybe intimidating model, yes, but you have so many options to play around with the color scheme of his sword, and you can even leave off some of the armor if you want to focus on painting, you know, more red demon skin. There are so many different textures you can focus on, and I think if you bring the needed patience and stamina, this is an amazingly fun model to paint. And we are entering the top 3 of the most fun Warhammer miniatures to paint according to you, the community. Let's dive right in. Taking the bronze medal at number 3 is the Wargog Prophet. This model is literally legendary in the miniature painting community. Why? Because of his warpaint and spellcasting effects. He is a relatively small infantry model, but he gives you a lot of creative freedom to use vibrant neon warpaint across his body and paint bone and wood and skin all in a single afternoon. I think his posture alone looks so fun. And again, we have some stony texture on his back that can be dry brushed super easily. A very deserving number 3. Number 2 goes to the Primarch of the Dark Angels, Lion L. Johnson. So many of you were screaming, "Lion, Lion," in my DMs. He had to make place number 2. And I gotta be honest with you, GW created a masterpiece here. I mean, look at him. The armor, the lion shoulder plates, holy shit. The shield, the skeleton, the base, the sword. He's just so majestic and fucking powerful. I don't know if I'm the only one, but he kind of reminds me of him. I don't know, I get a little bit of a Tywin Lannister vibe. Anyway, there are a lot of diverse textures and power armor and a cool sword and a scenic base, and yes, you will have to paint a face. But look at this miniature. What a glorious place number 2, and absolutely deserved in mine and your opinion. Which leads us to our number 1. And finally, taking the number 1 spot as the absolute most fun Warhammer miniature to paint of all time, the Dankhold Troggoth. When I went through all of your comments, one model family was mentioned more than anything else: Gloomspite Gitz, crowned specifically by the Dankhold Troggoth. Why is he number 1? Because he hits every single pillar of our fun rule. I mean, the lion might be the cooler, fucking more epic model, but you get the ultimate forgiving textures. His rubbery skin, stone accents, and moss take glazes and dry brushing like a dream, and any mistakes just look, you know, like natural skin variations. He has perfect unrestricted access, huge broad surfaces with zero awkward gaps or like silly sprue choices blocking your hand, and the natural flow is so there, using bright neon paints on those back mushrooms and bringing his goofy face to life comes together without any fuss at all. If you are experiencing hobby burnout, buying a Denko Troggoth is guaranteed to cure your soul and get you into the perfect zen state to tackle your next pain in the ass Warhammer mini project. So here we go. You, the community, has voted the top 25 most fun Warhammer miniatures to paint, completely clearing our negative energy from the past videos Hall of Pain. Do you agree with number 1, or is there a super fun mini that we somehow missed? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much to my Patreons for all the support. I really appreciate you. Stay chaotic, stay curious, stay diva, and until the next video, bye! Tschüss! Auf Wiedersehen!